Joel explains to his brother Tommy how he took Ellie halfway across the country to hand her to the Fireflies, in hope of finding a cure to the virus which struck the world 20 years ago. He reveals how he had to kill everyone at the Firefly lab to save Ellie from being sacrificed, as Joel grew attached to Ellie. Tommy is shocked to know this, and without saying anything he gets up and suggests that they should return to their settlement. Once Joel returns to the base, he meets with Ellie and offers to sing a song for her with a guitar which he recently scavenged. He gifts the guitar to Ellie and promises to teach her how to play before he leaves her room. 4 years go by. Ellie wakes up in her room as Jesse calls her out. He informs her that they must go out to check for the infected as Joel and Tommy has been out for a long time now. Jesse and Ellie make their way to the bar where Maria acts as a mediator between Seth, the bar owner, and Ellie from last night's brawl. After this, Jesse and Ellie team up with Dina. She apologizes for her actions last night and Ellie does not seem to hold a grudge against her. The three of them set out on their horses towards the creek trails in the woods. Elsewhere in the woods, a man and a woman by the name of Owen and Abby wakes up. Owen takes Abby to show her a discovery which he made, and they both stand at a cliff to oversee the settlement. It turns out that Abby and her group has been searching for Joel and they suspect that he might be in the settlement. Owen disapproves of confronting the settlement as they are outnumbered, but Abby decides to act on her own. Meanwhile, Danny and Ellie make their way to a nearby town to look for infected. They eventually come across a bunch of infected and kills them off. As they continue their journey, they are caught in a blizzard storm, which forces them to take shelter in a nearby library. There they find a weed lab and both of the girls end up making love together again as Danny recalls their last night kiss. On the other hand, Abby is trying to escape a horde of infected when she is rescued by Joel and Tommy. She tells them that her group's hideout place is near and leads Joel and Tommy to their place. There she attacks Joel and Tommy by blasting off Joel's leg with a shotgun, and knocking out Tommy as Abby seeks revenge against them for something they did in the past. Back at the library, Ellie tells Danny that she is immune to the infection and while they are still talking about it, Jesse arrives at the weed lab and catches Dina and Ellie semi-naked. He then informs them that his group has not found Joel and Tommy and they might be in trouble. The trio sets out in separate ways to look for Joel and Tommy. Ellie reaches Abby's lodge and as she tries to save Joel from getting beaten up, she is attacked by Abby's group which pins her down. Abby beats Joel to death with a golf stick in front of Ellie, and her group escapes the region after knocking out Ellie. Danny and Jesse soon finds her and takes her back to the settlement. Once they are in the settlement, Tommy informs Ellie that Abby belonged to a group called the Washington Liberation Front or WLF, headquartered at Seattle. Ellie asks Tommy to come with her to avenge Joel's death but Tommy is reluctant as his wife is concerned about her husband's safety and asks him to not go. The next morning Ellie mourns at Joel's grave. Danny informs her that Tommy has set out to Seattle on his own, and Ellie then heads to his home to gather some items before heading out to Seattle with Danny. In Joel's room, Ellie retrieves Joel's gun and the watch which his daughter Sarah gifted to him before she got shot. Maria joins them soon and allows Ellie to take her horse before leaving and asks her to bring Tommy back home safely. As Dina and Ellie reach Seattle, they are ambushed by the WLF. Ellie is taken hostage while Danny manages to escape. Ellie wakes up tied to a pole, where some WLF soldiers prepare to shoot her but she is saved by Danny who kills the person with the gun. She falls down from the glass ceiling and the other WLF soldier attacks her. Ellie manages to cut loose and kills the guard with a knife. After this both of them escape the building and they reach Tommy's horse dead, most likely killed by the infected. Both of them head inside a theater to take shelter for the night. There Danny reveals that she is pregnant. This disappoints Ellie and she starts scouting the place instead. Ellie ends up reaching the theater screen where she finds a guitar and recalls a memory 3 years ago, when Joel took her to the Jackson County Museum. She wakes up the next morning and heads upstairs to meet with Danny, who informs her that she has fixed the broken antenna at the theater and located WLF stations in the city. They overhear a radio conversation about an armed male trespasser around Station 14 and Ellie heads out to look for Tommy as she believes he might be there. Danny stays back as her situation worsens. On the way, Ellie encounters Jesse, Dina's ex-boyfriend who followed them to Seattle. Both of them escape an attack by WLF, and make their way back to the theater, where they meet with Danny. She hugs Jesse as soon as she sees him and walks him inside. This saddens Ellie and she relives another one of his memories from 2 years ago, when Tommy taught her how to use a sniper and after which she went to an infected town with Joel to search for a new guitar. There she confronts Joel about taking her out of the Firefly lab. Joel lies to her and tells her once more that there is no cure and things cannot be changed. Back in the present day, Danny comes in to help Ellie stitch up her wound. Ellie asks her why she hid the pregnancy from Jesse and Danny believes that this not the right time to break the news to him. After that she informs Ellie that one girl from Abby's group, named Nora, is currently in a nearby hospital and Ellie immediately decides to go after her without Jesse. While searching for Nora, Ellie encounters the Seraphites, a religious cult locked in a battle with the WLF over control of Seattle. Ellie tracks down Nora and tortures her for information on Abby's location. This traumatizes Ellie, and she returns back to the theater where she reveals that Abby is hiding in the aquarium in the city. A flashback reveals that, 2 years earlier Ellie traveled to the Firefly Hospital in Salt Lake City and learned the truth about Joel not letting the Fireflies use Ellie to create the vaccine. Devastated, she cut ties with Joel. The next morning, Jesse learns that Danny is pregnant. Ellie asks him to take her back to the settlement, but he insists on finding Tommy. They both set out to look for Tommy and Abby. Ellie makes her way to the aquarium where she finds Owen and his girlfriend Mel. Ellie tries to interrogate them for Abby's location but ends up killing them both. Owen informs her that Mel is pregnant before dying. This traumatizes Ellie. While she is in a traumatic state, Jesse and Tommy arrive and take her back to the theater with them. Back at the theater, Tommy makes a plan for the group to return back home. This is when they are attacked by Abby. As Ellie and Jesse rush to help Tommy, Jesse is shot dead by Abby, and Tommy and Ellie are held hostages. In a flashback, after Abby and her group has returned after killing Joel, Owen and his pregnant girlfriend Mel decide to part their ways from the group and move to the aquarium building in the city. Meanwhile, Tommy comes after them and starts killing WLF men in the city. Abby escapes the WLF to go and make sure her ex, Owen, is safe. As she escapes, she is ambushed by Seraphite and her guards. She hangs Abby by the rope and prepares to kill her. This is when the Seraphite guards capture Yara, a former member of the Seraphites tribe who are now branded as apostates. The guards break her arms, but before they could kill her and Abby, they are rescued by Lev, Yara's younger brother. They manage to escape into a trailer park, where Abby leaves to find Owen after she binds a stick to Yara's broken arm and tells Lev to leave in the morning. She finds Owen in one of the boats at the aquarium, and they both end up making love together. The next morning, Abby returns to Yara and Lev, and brings Yara to the aquarium so that Mel can help her. Mel reveals that Yara's arm is shattered and they must cut off her arm to stop the pain. Abby is assigned with the task to bring supplies from the hospital in WLF territory. As she reaches the hospital, she is arrested by the group for leaving without informing. Nora frees her and guides her to the required supplies. Once she has gathered the supplies, she heads back to the aquarium, where Mel amputates Yara and saves her life. After this, Mel tells Abby to stay away from her and Owen, but later when Abby talks to Owen, he invites her to come with them to St. Barbara. While they are still talking, Lev decides to go back to his mom, which is still a member of the Seraphite cult, but Yara fears that Lev might get hurt. Abby and Lev decide to go after him to save him. As they reach the cult's village, they find Lev crying in a corner while his mother is laying dead in the center of the room, murdered by Lev while he was defending himself. The trio escape the village, but they are soon attacked by WLF, which kills Yara. Lev and Abby manage to escape back to the aquarium in a boat. There Abby finds the dead bodies of Mel and Owen. She also finds the map which Ellie dropped there and learns that the killers are stationed in the theater. Abby and Lev makes their way to the theater and we are brought back to the present time again. After Abby shoots Jesse and points the gun at Ellie, Tommy attacks her but he is shot with an arrow by Lev and later on Abby shoots him in the face as well. Ellie escapes downstairs in the theater. There Abby engages in a one-on-one fight against her. As she is beating down Ellie, Danny rushes onto her but Lev shoots her with an arrow. As Abby prepares to kill Danny, Lev stops her. She decides to let Ellie and Danny live and leaves with Lev before warning Ellie to not come after her ever again. Several months go by. Ellie and Danny now live in a house in the fields with Danny's son. It is revealed that Tommy survived the bullet and he returns to Ellie and Danny with information on whereabouts of Abby, asking Ellie to come with him to take revenge. Danny disapproves and Ellie refuses to go with Tommy. Later at night, Ellie walks out of bed and plays the guitar which Joel gifted her. She recalls the night in bar when Danny kissed her, and Joel stood up for her against Seth. After this, Ellie decides to leave to hunt for Abby. Before she leaves, Danny tries to stop her but Ellie ignores her request and embarks on her journey. Elsewhere in St. Barbara, Lev and Abby contact the Fireflies and learn that they are regrouping at Catalina Island in California. Before Abby and Lev could make their way to them, they are attacked by slave traders, who captures them and takes them to their prison. Ellie tracks them down and reaches the slave prison, where she frees Abby and Lev and challenges Abby to fight her. At first Abby refuses to fight her, but she is forced to do so when Ellie threatens to hurt Lev. As Ellie has Abby pinned down under the water, Abby bites off 2 of her fingers but Ellie manages to keep her underwater. Before she could choke her to death, she gets an image of Joel in her mind, and decides to let Abby go, who escapes with Lev on a boat. Ellie makes her way back to her home in the fields, but learns that Danny has left her and she is alone now. The only thing worthwhile in the house is Joel's guitar. As Ellie grabs it, she goes back in a memory where she complained to Joel about not letting the fireflies take her life to develop a cure, and Joel answers that even if he is given a second time to relive that moment, he would still make the same decision. The story concludes with Ellie making her way out in the world, all by herself. Thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe for more epic videos. We will see you at the next one.